Creating is a natural part of human existence. From the beginning of time, we've been storytelling. We have forms of art going back to like basically the beginning of humanity. Creating of some form is something that is an innately human experience and something that is actually so important to our entire well-being as individuals as well. And that's something that I don't think we talk about enough, is the fact that it's not being creative isn't just a luxury that some of us get to enjoy. It's not just some people that are, creative types. Yes, some of us are more inclined to it. Some of us are drawn to it as, a form of career and just as a way of life. But I am a firm believer that everybody is a creative of some type and that they should be creating something. Hi, I'm Karina. I'm a self-published author, and I write mostly. And honestly, it's kind of funny to me when people find out that I'm a writer, how many times I hear that people say that they could never write a book. They could never ever finish a book. Or lots of people saying they want to, but they just don't know how to start. And on a similar note, even though I've written books, I tell my husband and my sister all the time that I could never be an artist like them, where they both draw and or do digital art. And I think that's a lie that a lot of us tell ourselves, is that we can't do something. And I think the bigger lie is that not that we can't do it, but that we shouldn't do it if we aren't good at it. I think most of us are aware at this point that having a creative hobby is good for you, whether that be writing, dancing, art, pottery, photography, anything like that. I think we all know that having a creative hobby, crocheting, knitting, right? Those are getting very popular again. All of those things contribute majorly towards reducing our stress, improving our happiness, and even things like improving our immune systems and just our overall well-being. Having a creative hobby is a way that a lot of people can also process their emotions, whether they be positive ones or maybe some of those negative ones. I know for myself, I used to write a lot of poetry when I was in high school and dealing with a lot of mental health issues, and that was extremely stress relieving for me to be able to go in and put my thoughts on paper in a way that maybe I wouldn't normally say them to somebody that was sitting right beside me, but I was able to express them in a safe manner and in a way that I still love going back and reading them and seeing the shift that has happened. And it was very therapeutic at the time. I also used to be a dancer, and I think that is a form that a lot of people, again, can be very stress relieving. And I think any type of art has that power to where you can process those negative emotions, you can celebrate the positive ones. And like I said, we know that it benefits us in other ways. There have been multiple scientific studies that show that creative people tend to be better problem solvers in their everyday life. So if you're somebody who maybe you have a creative hobby, but it's not something that brings you income, you still have a day job. If you indulge in that creative hobby, according to studies, you'll be better at problem solving at your work as well. Now, I don't know that I can correlate necessarily my writing to making me a better problem solver or anything like that. Possibly in communication. We could argue that writing helps me communicate better with people, but I'm not the best with the spoken word either, so that's debatable as well. Either way, even if it's not something that benefits me, outside of the activity itself, it's still something that should definitely be indulged in. Now, people will argue and say that they aren't good at it, so they don't like to do it. And I understand you there. While I do feel that I have a talent for writing, by no means, very much a natural talent. That's something that I worked hard at for a while, but at this point, writing comes easy, and I would say that that's part of the reason I enjoy the process, is because I feel like I know what I'm doing. And when there's something new, I understand the frustration of struggling through it and not feeling good. But even when it's something that you're not good at, again, studies and science show us that having that creative hobby is still majorly worth it. And of course, we know that you could take the time to watch a YouTube video, take a class, find a friend or somebody else who's willing to teach you the thing. And if it's something that you're passionate about, I definitely encourage you to. But even if it's just a silly little hobby that you're going to do after work while you're sitting on your couch waiting for the day to be done, it doesn't matter if you're good at it or not. That's not the point of being creative. We live in a world where we are expected to try to monetize basically everything that we're able to. And I also understand that urge. We are living in a society where every little buck makes a difference. And also, it can feel like you're not being productive if what you're doing isn't making you money, and or if you can't see a change. For example, like cleaning your house, you can see that change. There's a positive change there. But with me just sitting down and writing a book, if I don't publish it, was it worth it, right? Like, why did I spend the time doing that? And I think it's really hard for us sometimes to justify that to ourselves, but I promise you, it's worth it for you. And of course, you can definitely go and share that with other people if you'd like, whether you share that with friends and family or stick it online or in other places to share with the world. Both are valid and both are just as worthy. You do not have to create stuff for other people for it to be a worthy endeavor. And I think that's the biggest thing that we all need to remind ourselves of, is creation itself isn't an obligation that we have to the world and to other people. We have that obligation for ourselves. We are supposed to make sure that we're enriching our own lives. And there are people that are willing to share their creations, and that's amazing because it does help us fill our lives with more wonder and beauty. And if you are comfortable sharing your creations, then go for it, because again, that's also part of the human experience, right? Is sharing and building community with each other. But even if that's not the case for you, still write your stories, still paint your pictures, still go out and practice with that camera, still dance, do whatever it is that makes your heart sing, that brings you joy, even if you don't consider yourself good, because you owe it to yourself to be a creative and to allow yourself to explore that creativity. One thing I remind myself of all the time now, and that I think I would remind a lot of my loved ones of as well, is it something that I would discourage my son from doing, right? I have a toddler now, so he's not getting into too much at the moment, but as I think about him growing and in the future, if he does not have a talent for art like his father, would I discourage him from drawing and painting and having fun with art? Of course I wouldn't. Why in the world would I ever discourage him from doing something as fun as that? And exploring his creativity and experiencing life. Why in the world would I ever discourage him from that? And if that's the case, then why would I deprive and discourage myself from doing it as well? And so if you can't relate to that one, you could think of it for your friend or whoever else is important to you. But if it's not something that you would discourage someone else from doing and you are interested in doing it, then why are you allowing that to hold you back? And that's just a mindset that has helped me a lot with continuing to find new creative methods, like making YouTube videos. This has been very much a creative endeavor that has been very scary for me, and I'm not good at yet, in my opinion. I'm still very much struggling through it. I'm still a newbie, but I decided to stop denying myself the option of it just because I knew I wouldn't be good at it. And so that, I guess, is the message that I wanted to share today, and the thoughts that I had on my mind is just stop denying yourself the pleasure of experiencing life and joy through a creative lens, because we're our own worst critics and you're judgmental of yourself. We all need to be a little kinder to ourselves. And so if you have the opportunity today, I encourage you to sit down and create something. Thanks for sitting with me through my rambling thoughts. Like I said, my name is Karina. I'm a self-published author, and this channel is mostly to speak to other writers and other creative types who feel like their life may be too chaotic for them to indulge in their creativity and to take the time that they want. And so if that's something that speaks to you, I definitely encourage you to like and subscribe so you can follow along. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.
Just